Hey everybody, it's Sean. Just wanted to give you a heads up that we wanted to acknowledge the death of Chadwick Boseman, and we did it while we recorded Bill and Ted, but we did it at the end, and we kind of talked about it and didn't really know where to put it or if we wanted to put it up at all, but we definitely felt that we should. So I moved things around. I cleaned up the edit a little bit, took out some of the tangents we go on throughout the review, and I wanted to share our thoughts on Chadwick because it has been something we've been thinking about, and we wanted to acknowledge because it's really sad and tragic, and he really was a hero. And those are the types of movies we always talk about, and we really loved Black Panther, and it definitely has grown on me, and I'm sure Andrew can speak to that over the year or two since it's been out. So yeah, just wanted to put this in. If you don't want to listen to us talk about it, that's totally fine too. You can skip forward. I'll look and see. It's probably about it's probably a good 8 minutes. So I would skip about 8 minutes after this. If you don't, I know it's sad, and our hearts go out to the Boseman family and to all the fans of Black Panther and Jackie Robinson. He played so many legendary roles and so many important people in history. He was the guy, and it's a bummer. So here's our little thoughts on that. Thanks for listening. Hug your loved ones. Stay safe. Wear a mask. I just wanted to say a quick RIP to Chadwick Boseman on the pod.
Yes.
Yeah, it's super sad. I've been thinking about it a lot.
Yeah.
It sucks. It's like, I mean, what else is there to say? I think that movie is gonna be like Superman for me for a lot of people. Like, I still watch Superman the movie to this day. I watched it a couple days ago. He's really a hero.
It sucks. Like everything about that was like R.I.P. to Chadwick Boseman, because I don't know. I feel like I should also say it. Because it was so surprising, because I remember I like texted you because I was just like, holy shit. I was like, I couldn't believe it, and like hearing, because it's been like a week or so since that like news broke, and like hearing all the stories, especially about him, and how he kept it to himself, and how people didn't know. And there's it's I think it's really adding a lot of like power to his story, where it's just he chose to live a more private life while he was like going out, and he was fighting cancer himself, but like going out and like visiting kids who were like sick. They were also themselves battling cancer, and like no one like knew. It's heartbreaking, especially because he obviously Chadwick Boseman is more than just T'Challa. He was like a tremendous actor, like overall played like a ton of like amazing roles. It just sucks though that uh, Black Panther so instantly like resonated with so many people, and it meant so much to so many people, so many families, like instantly. When I saw Black Panther in theaters, it was like entire generations and like multi generations like families like seeing that movie, and like where it's like it's just clear how like instantaneously like that was like iconic and like meant so much to people. And like even seeing Endgame, when he's the first person through the portals, like people lost their shit. When he was one of the first people to die in Infinity War, people lost their shit. Like I
It
don't know,
sucks.
it
It's
just sucks.
Yeah, I think much like Christopher Reeve and Superman, I think people are always gonna hold him to the highest regard as in terms of like perfect embodiment of the role, and like just being a hero all the time, kind of, which isn't easy for a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people. Um, and doing it all while being sick, basically, because he I don't think he knew in Civil War, but he had it during Civil War.
Yeah.
And then he found out, I guess, after roughly like
Mm-hmm.
2016, I think.
Because he filmed all those things like filmed probably from like 2015 to like 2017, maybe something like that. Probably reshoots here and there, but and I just recently watched Black Panther, and I felt like shitty. Like I feel shitty like in retrospect because like he's not as like bulky like as like the other like people are. Like I was like, that's interesting. He's not necessarily as like bulky in this, but then like so much makes sense.
Yeah.
Like now
you can kind of see it like in his face. Like as the movies went on, he just looks gaunt and it's sad. It sucks. And like everyone was like calling him out on it. And like I saw a picture of him in like March or April during quarantine and he looked really sick. And
yeah,
it sucks. It fucking sucks. And
yeah,
I think I think Black Panther will be one of those movies that just stays around forever, even like over all the other Marvel movies, I think, especially.
Well, it's because you and I can't speak truly to how much it means to people. Like,
I agree.
It's not for us.
No.
Like it's a thing where it's like we can see how much it like truly means to other people. It's I don't know. It's hard for us to talk about like the meaning of this, but it's like he played the fucking character like so well. Because I was thinking about it the other day, where it's like it's not just the superhero scenes or like the like. For me, it's like the scenes his scenes with like Shuri are like the best.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like it's just like him and his sister just like shooting the shit.
Yeah, back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Good banter. And then the stuff with his dad was great too. Like every scene in Civil War and in Black Panther with his dad is fucking amazing.
Yeah. I have not, I don't know. There's a lot of his work that I also haven't seen that I now like obviously want to go back and like see. That's not just Marvel.
Yeah. 42, The Five Bloods.
Yeah, no, I watched it like a month ago and I was like, man, this movie's fucking great. Like there's so much of it. It is such a great movie because it's standalone. It doesn't fall into the origin story traps. It's almost like a sequel to itself, all at the same time. It's about a lot of like really important themes, and it's just a celebration of just like Black culture. It's fucking great.
Yeah,
and it's all of that is to say, I think it is important to separate the man from the Marvel, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. It sucks, especially because it's like, he clearly was like incredibly talented and, can't, he was being,
and a great person and
100%.
A great human being.
I have no negative stories, and I have a ton of respect for the fact that like being catapulted into such a public presence, keeping all that like personal is like, that's like, that doesn't happen like anymore. I feel like,
especially today.
Like,
yeah,
no one seemed to know is like crazy, but
yeah, I think it was like mainly his family, and that was it. Like I don't think Feige knew. I don't think anyone knew. Which our hearts go out to everybody in the family, and yeah, it's awful. It's sad. So yeah, that's what we just wanted to say. It's really sad. We wanted to provide context for that because we wanted to say something. We didn't know the best way to do it. So just wanted to put that at the top and remember him and, just say a few words. Provide context because, Bill and Ted, it's going to be light. It's going to be fun. We're going to be laughing, hooting, and hollering. And there's a bit of a tonal shift. So here is our Bill and Ted Face the Music review. Be excellent to each other and party on.
Ayo. Buddy, what's up?
Not Van Helsing on HBO Max anymore.
What?
It's not there anymore.
Fuck. All right, I'm recording right now.
I was too.
All right, good. Oh my god, good. You hit me with some hard information right there. Right to start. Oh boy, we did a Van Helsing commentary, which I don't think we've released yet. We had some technical difficulties with it, but now it's on HBO Max. So.
And like, I'm not paying $4 to do the first 20 minutes of the movie.
I think Sean, maybe we should. Yeah, I got the kitty came. The kitty's been hanging out in my room. Little squeaker. Hello, squeaker. I talk to her like that sometimes, where I go, "Hello, squeaker," and I've been trying to figure out what that voice is, and it took me a while to realize that's the Pennywise voice. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Where it's like, "Hello, squeaker, hello, squeaker," and it's like that.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's actually a pretty good impression.
Hey, thanks. I can do a creepy clown. Hooray for me. I'm unemployed.
Just put me in a knit costume, Pennywise costume.
Yeah, pretty much.
That'd be a fun gig. You could be a clown, but like scary clown.
Yeah, I'd probably be fine at that. I don't know.
And then you could be like fun clown for some people that want fun clown.
Yeah. I am fun clown, scary clown. Take your pick, 50-50.
That's the caveat. You don't know what you're getting.
You don't know what you're getting. Sorry, kid, about your 12th birthday, but play with me. So 12 is too old to get a clown, so.
Yeah.
I said 12, and then I was like, how old are kids? What is kids?
When do kids like clowns? Probably not. There's probably like a very small window.
I'll ask the kitten, hey, Tofu, do you like clowns? She's just she's up on a bureau, which I put her on there because I thought it would be cute, but then I opened up my drawers like stairs to help her down. So we're going to find out how I should probably just put it out. All right, she's on the sock drawer.
George didn't know how to do stairs for a couple months.
Oh, how old was George when you guys got him? I forgot.
They think he's 3.
And you go, oh my God. Oh, that's like cuter somehow.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because like we don't have backs to our stairs in our house. Like it's just like steps, like bars across. So maybe that kind of freaked him out. I don't know. This is Animal Talk with Sean and Andrew.
Welcome to Animal Talk. The cat is actually disappearing into the bowels of the bureau, and I this could be a thing. Wait, hello.
Get in the wall now. You're talking my language.
It's a calico cat. You know what that means.
We can get another cat. Throw it in.
Yeah, cat in the wall. Calico cat. All calico cats are female. Oh, buddy. Hey man, I just finished a new. Oh, I'm getting clawed. I just finished a new movie that just came out.
Oh, what movie was that?
Sorry, this is all visual bits with a little cute kitten happening on an audio medium.
She's pawing at Andrew. It's great.
She's pawing at me real quick, just before we get into content. Earlier this morning, I played video games for a little bit. She was on my bed, and my chair was like up against it. And she like pawed me, like she just like tapped me kind of on the shoulder. I literally like flinched. It scared the shit out of me. This is at like 10:30 in the morning. I was like, Jesus Christ. Like,
air guitar.
What are you doing? What
air guitar?
Is
that
okay. 2 immediate thoughts about the air guitar, okay?
Okay.
This is Sean and Andrew. We're going to talk about the Bill and Ted trilogy. 2 immediate thoughts about the air guitar. Number 1, it took 20 minutes for Bill and Ted 3 for them to do the air guitar. If you were like me, and they absolutely had their chances to do it. When they first show up in the future, one of them says to the other, he's like, "Oh, we're in the future, dude." And they're like, "Oh, excellent." And I was like, "Excuse me?" I was like, "Excuse me?" I really liked when they did it, though. It was right before they used the phone booth. I was like, chef's kiss.
Right when they get in, right?
Yeah. And then the end credits are a lot of people doing like air guitar and stuff like that, like over whatever the song was, which was actually a good song. And I was like, excuse me, why the fuck were we not involved in this? Who did we have to talk to at Orion Pictures?
I think Alex Winter like posted something about it, and that's how they got all the footage.
Fuck, well,
I know. I wish I knew about it.
That's why. Oh, man, Alex Winter.
What a guy.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think he's like mostly responsible for this happening.
Yeah, he was He was really good. Like, he was good. I was like, he seems like a nice guy. I don't know.
He busts his ass apparently because he hasn't acted since he hasn't done a major role since like '93. I think he's been only directing. So I read that he like went back and took acting classes for this and like did all like this shit for it. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude! Like, good for you.
Huh.
And
That's
also,
cool as hell.
all right. So yes, we're talking about Bill and Ted 3. It's the inspiration for our intro to this podcast, if you haven't gotten that already. So you could say it's kind of a big deal for us that this movie happened.
It really is. Low key.
It's like a secret, like pretty important trilogy now.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
I did too. I don't think so. The third one overall, I wasn't laughing a ton throughout. I think I laughed a lot at the beginning and the end. That was kind of where I thought it was the most like most humorous and stuff. Overall, I liked it. I wasn't like blown away, but I still liked it.
I wasn't really expecting to be blown away. You know, it's like they're so different. Like half of the reason why their characters are great is because of their youth. So like, I feel like you lose a lot of that, but also I thought they gained a lot from it too, because I think they kind of applied the real life personas to their characters a little bit. Like Keanu says one line, he's like, "I'm just really tired," and I'm like, "That's what I wanted."
Yep. It's great also because like Keanu, he had like the John Wick movies have kind of left him like broken now that he's like older too. Like he punctured like a lung or something among like 6 other injuries just for the third movie. So there's a lot in this where it's like he can barely like he's like a big dude, but he's like Frankenstein like walking. Like he can't like it seems like he's just like stiff and like can't move correctly, but like I feel like that kind of like worked because some of the stuff that they do with Keanu, it's like I feel like some of the humor in this movie. Spoilers, by the way. We're gonna get into spoilers. Keanu Reeves plays a bagpipe at one point, and that was maybe my favorite thing. But like they just kind of put, "Hello, Tofu. Are you gonna walk all over my computer?" I feel like a lot of it was just kind of like putting Keanu in like weird stuff and just kind of seeing like it was just like fun to see him in like all the weird makeup when they do see all the different versions of himself. Yeah,
that
stuff.
Was the best.
Yeah. I for sure dug that.
Because I mean, I didn't have much expectations for it, so like I wasn't disappointed at all. I was like, this is really nice. It's not like it didn't feel forced. It got a decent enough script that I think is, you know, like it had a good enough shit in it that I laughed enough. And great pitch, like. Okay, so yeah, great title.
I completely
too.
Agree.
Great title.
100%. The title and the pitch and everything are great. I feel like it might. Did you watch the other two like leading up to it? All right, cool. I feel like maybe we do a build up and we get to 3 where it's like cause we don't have to spend a lot of time on the other two because it's like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I've seen like once or twice before, and I watched it again like last week. And I was like, this movie it's great because it's just like, it's exactly like what we were just saying, where it's like the premise and the pitch and everything is like 2 like 80s rock musician stoners travel through time to help them like pass a history exam to save the future. It's like, that's the pitch, and it's the ultimate fucking version of that. Like it's, the stakes are so low that it's like, it's a movie that's like it's 90 minutes long. It's in, it's out. It's like, yeah, you're good, and it's a great fucking time along the way. And there's a lot of like there's a lot of fun things that they can play with, and they play with the premise as much as possible. Like the whole bit where they're like, wait, we have a time machine. We just have to remember to steal my dad's keys, and then like we're like, oh, you gotta remember to put a trash can here, and like all that shit it's great. Like. It barely makes sense, but you're like, oh, I guess, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, okay. It doesn't get too lost in like the pseudoscience of time travel or anything like that. It's like,
no,
we're gonna do. It's like, what did I say? It was like it's Fast Times meets. What was it?
Right. Yeah. Oh, you texted me this. I forget. It's Fast Time meets. I can't remember. Star Trek.
No, what was
Back
it?
to the
Time
Future.
Bandits.
Back to the Future. Oh, Time Bandits.
That's what it was.
Fast Times meets Time Bandits. There it is.
Yeah.
Oh my god. By the way, did you recently watch Time Bandits or something?
No, I just was thinking about Time Bandits when I was watching Bill and Ted. So, I was like,
because you also you referenced it again later because I forgot Taika Waititi is doing like a reboot, and then we were talking about that, which I forgot about.
that was what spawned. I was watching Bill and Ted, and I was thinking about. I was like, this is similar to Time Bandits. I think it's more Time Bandits than Back to the Future, mainly because they do like the different parts, and they bring people. They bring Napoleon, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. However, the thing that they have in common is wanting to fuck your mom. There's a lot of that. A lot of that in all 6 movies at this point. It is. It's definitely way more Time Bandits because like Time Bandits is like they just kind of go and they learn a little bit here and there from like each person that they meet, right?
Mm-hmm. I also haven't seen Time Bandits in a while either, so
I haven't seen it since like college. All I know is that Pure Evil is played by I can't remember the actor's name, but he's Sark in Tron. And also, he's Professor Perry in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze. So, he's a very good friend of mine.
Oh, man.
Bogus Journey. Go take it away.
Bogus Journey, I think I've only seen like once or twice.
Yeah.
It definitely, I feel like it meanders a little more. But still really solid, really funny. Like they do a little bit of it's definitely weirder and like darker for sure. Especially when they do like the kid versions of Bill and Ted. Like that shit's super weird and dark. Granny Preston, that's also played by Alex Winter.
I was about to say, I was watching it. I never looked it up, and I actually have his IMDb page open now, but I assume that Granny Preston was played by Alex Winter.
Yeah, it is.
It looks like him.
It's great. It's and then I fucking love Death. Death is great.
He is great, and thankfully that carries through into the third one. Bogus Journey. I think I've seen. As I was watching it, I was like, have I only seen like most of this? Because like the beginning chunk, I was like, I don't think I've ever seen this.
I felt the same way. I think I maybe have seen it once before this,
and I think. Because I was thinking about it today because I watched it last night. I think the difference between Bogus Journey and the other two is that there's just a straight up antagonist. And I think the first movie and the third movie, there's not like a bad guy. There's not like a villain that they're trying to like stop. Because like the Bogus Journeys, I think the weakest stuff is that there is an actual villain that they have to stop where it's like, they don't know him. Like there's no emotion. Bill and Ted
because he's from the future.
He's from the future, and like Bill and Ted like work because they're just such like positive, just like idiots that are just like, oh, yeah, like they can roll with whatever punches. To have I don't know, it just doesn't work where it's like, who is this guy? And like what is,
well, because he also like doesn't show up for a while in the movie too. He's like in the first and third acts, like he's not really in the second act at all.
Yeah,
like he just shows up at the end. You're like, oh yeah, I forgot that he was even a fucking thing.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Bogus Journey, at least like while I was watching it, I think I started losing interest a little bit. Like it didn't hold my attention as well as like Excellent Adventure, because I think there is a little bit. It's just like a loud movie. There's like every couple of minutes, there's like some new element where I'm like, oh, I usually like that. But I think it hits a point where it's just like, there's like one or two many things that are introduced, or it's just like a little too like loud and like crazy and like everything's like puppets. But then I'm like, I also fucking love that. So
yeah, like when Station shows up and they do like the good robot Bill and Ted's and the so you have bad robot Bill and Ted's, good robot Bill and Ted's, regular Bill and Ted.
I do love Evil Bill and Evil Ted. I think that's great. Like
EB and ET.
It's great. It's so good. And like I don't know. So there's a part in the first movie where they say that they love each other and then call each other a slur, and it's like really fucked up, and it doesn't really actually feel like it fits the two characters. However, I do think having Evil Bill and Evil Ted say the same thing to them in the second one is some way of trying to like rectify that. Where
Yeah.
it's like, at least now the evil versions are saying it. I'm like, that, I don't know. Like,
They don't say it in the new ones, so in case you were, it's like
they do not. But there was that slight worry where it's like, maybe just like nostalgia. Like, it's the third. I mean, the third
the
one
good
has a
old
lot
days,
of
Andrew.
yeah. The good old days. But then it's like, but again, it's counter to really what I think. Like the third movie is made with such like love and care, where it's like, again, like that is the biggest problem I think with the first movie is like, it's like, oh god, what, like what? Where it's like these movies work best as like a genuine expression of like just it's just like male platonic love between like two very good friends who are like I don't know. I don't know. There's a weird road to probably go down, but like, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, I feel like it's counter to a lot of the message and stuff like that. Because the part of the movie is just be good to each other and party on dudes. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
but yeah, Bogus Journey is like,
It's got a lot of good shit in it, for sure.
it's got a, and like, kudos for not just being like, we're going to travel through time again. Like, having them die and have to deal with like evil robot versions of themselves. And like, it's more metaphysical and like psychological, but also like kind of sci-fi. It's like, that's the way that the way to go.
It's a good direction to take a sequel that like it's not like so big too, like the scale is relatively the same, like they're not trying to do too much with it, you know.
Yeah. They have to get to a battle of the bands. Like,
Yeah.
that's the best part of the first movie too, I think, is their history presentation is also on a stage, and like when they get to their actual presentation, it's like so long and so crazy. There's a point where I might have missed something, but there's a point where they just cut to the crowd and all like they cut to Bill and Ted or like Lincoln or somebody who's just eating like a pudding cup, and they cut to the crowd and everyone's eating pudding cups, and I was like, when was that? Like, I looked away for a second. I was like, did I miss something?
They like cut out the scene or something.
Yeah, it just made it feel like even more ridiculous and like long, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Didn't they have does Billy Madison reference Bill and Ted because they do like the whole so and so high football rules or whatever?
Nearby football rules.
Yeah, they do it in Bill and Ted. I forget which one it is, but either one of them were before.
San Dimas High School
Football
or
rules.
San Dimas football rules. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, this is a very dumb quick tangent. There's an old show at the Improv Theater where they would do like, it was like movie themed, and there was a really good improviser, Kristen Shear, who was doing it once, and like she had to like just name a location to like set up like where like a improv show was gonna take place, and she was just like, the place, San Dimas High. That's right, the high school from the Bill and Ted movie. Oh god, I just remembered that. Fuck. She's like, yeah, San Dimas, California. And she just kept bringing it up as much as possible. I was dying. I thought that was the funniest shit in the world.
Oh man, never been to San Dimas.
A real place.
Real place.
Sometimes in TV shows when they bring up weird sounding California towns, I'm surprised when they're real. Rancho Cucamonga from
Oh yeah, that's 100% real.
yeah, like that in Workaholics. I was like, oh, that's a fun name, and then I was like, oh, it's a place. Okay. All right.
San Dimas is only 25 miles from me, actually.
Well,
I can get there in about 40 minutes.
I hope they had a screening.
I think they shot most of it in LA, though. I doubt they went out to San Dimas, maybe for like
Probably
establishing shots. But yeah. Yeah, so we did all of them like in succession. I think we took like an hour break between Bogus Journey and Face the Music. We did them all like because we were like, it's fucking 110 degrees out. What the fuck else are we gonna do?
Yeah. I did Excellent Adventure, and then this past weekend my girlfriend stayed with me. So Kelly was here, and it was after I'd already watched Excellent Adventure, and I was like, I can't just take her on a bogus journey. I was like, so I waited a little bit so that I was like, yeah, I don't think I can take her through the trilogy right now. But yeah, so I did like a couple days, then I watched Bogus Journey last night, and then Face the Music just now. But
Yeah, you're hot off Face the Music.
I'm hot off Face the Music, and I gotta say, I feel great. Like,
It's a feel good movie, and it's like, it's just like, yeah, is it perfect? No, I mean, yeah, it kind of meanders in the middle. The beginning is so fucking funny, dude. Like the setup at the
beginning I was
wedding,
dying.
I was like on the floor. I think it was like the hardest I've ever laughed at any of these movies.
oh my god, it was great. It was, yeah, because there's like weird shit that like is like pretty funny throughout, but like I think the wedding was like great way to like set it up, where it's, again, Keanu Reeves playing bagpipes is such a weird sight that I was like dying. I was like, what am I looking at?
Yeah, so
60-year-old Keanu, however old he is, like 60-year-old Keanu Reeves, like
yeah, dude, Bill and Ted was 31 years ago.
they kept saying 25, like the timeline for the kids too, like didn't add up.
Well, I think they retconned Bogus Journey to be 5 or 6 years after Bill and Ted, Excellent Adventure.
Is Bogus Journey like a Predator 2 situation where it came out in like 1992, but for some reason the movie takes place like 3 or 4 years later?
I think James Cameron started that whole trend with like, or was it Predators 2?
That's what I'm saying, Predator 2.
And then T2 did it.
Right, T2 is
95?
No, I thought T2 was 91. I could be wrong though.
Came out in 91. And they pushed it a couple of years so John Connor would be like 12, whatever, how old he is. And I think that was the only reason why they wanted John Connor to be old enough.
Yeah. It's so weird.
Yeah. It's an interesting way to do it. Yeah, so I think Bill and Ted, they retconned Bogus Journey's timeline, which I don't think there's really anything in Bogus Journey to set it, because they're not in high school. Are they in high school still?
I don't think so. And it's also unclear if like I think there's like, they go to like a party scene at one point, and one of the princesses was drinking like a Pepsi. So I was like, wait, can they even drink? I'm like, would Bill and Ted drink? Like,
well, they never really explicitly show them doing anything.
That's what I'm saying, where I'm like, they're just kind of positive like idiots. Like,
they're PG movies, the first two, and this one's PG-13. So, I mean, you can only really show them do so much.
Yeah. Well, it's like in the Simpsons movie, I think like they cut to Otto, the bus driver, just like ripping a bong. And I was like, oh, all right, we're going to just like, I was like, they always kind of say it, but it's like, it's another thing for when you see like these characters like do it, where you're like, oh yeah, no, all right, there's something aggressive about
now
this.
they can show it.
Yeah,
no. Yeah, so they're at the wedding, and it's Deacon, Ted's brother, and Bill's stepmother, who also became Ted's stepmother, and now is Ted's sister-in-law. Like, it's fucking great. They explain it like this like insane way, and it's hilarious. And Deacon is Beck Bennett. Who, I mean, could have given him anything and it would have been funny, but it's not about him, so I get it. No. It's so good.
Beck Bennett's going to be the next like Chris Parnell. Like, he's got like that weird enough voice, and you can just kind of put him in just about anything, and he's not going to draw too much focus. And it like, I feel like Beck Bennett's going to be like Chris Parnell level, where it's just like, you poop Brownberg. Yeah, the Missy thing, I was like, that's fucking ridiculous. Like, low key fucked up, but like the brother though, also in like the first movie, when like he like the brother in like the first one is so funny when they just dump Napoleon on him, and they're like, all right, you gotta be careful, because he's like, and he's like, no, he's an asshole, like, I don't want to deal with him.
They take him to the bowling alley. It's so to get the ice cream thing, and he eats like all of it.
Yeah. So it's called like the Waterloo or something too. Yeah. Little piggy. Yeah,
it's so good.
It's so good. Yeah, that setup was great, and then them playing on the shitty instruments.
And they keep talking up this like new song that they wrote, and it's just like this fucking like Dewey Cox like masterpiece.
Oh my god, this is like the Dewey Cox thing where he just gets all the oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Keanu Reeves also plays a theremin.
He starts off with the theremin, and they literally make that joke in Dewey Cox. He learned to play the fucking theremin.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, man.
As soon as he whipped out the theremin, I lost it. I was like, is he about to play a fucking theremin right now?
Yeah, because Keanu Reeves is like, he's just like, oh, yeah, all right, yeah. Like, he's like, he like can barely move, and he's just like excited to be there, but he doesn't like fit in like the things that they're making him do in the beginning. It's really good. It's like Showalter in the first day of camp, Wet Hot, where it just feels like they dress him up to make him look like a kid more and more, and he just looks horrible.
Yeah, they lean into it.
It's so funny.
He's got a terrible wig on. Yeah,
I think that's his hair.
No, I'm talking about Wet Hot.
Oh yeah.
No,
that could unfortunately also be his hair.
That would be bad.
It would be bad.
So then they like you meet their daughters, Little Bill and Little Ted.
Little Bill and Little Ted. Highlights of the movie. They're great. Also, Samara Weaving at this point, after watching this, I'm like, she deserves to like blow up, I think.
If she hasn't already, right?
She's like right on the verge.
Yeah.
And like after watching this, I was like, she's playing this in like such a weird like she's like playing it as if it's somebody, like she's playing it the air of somebody where everything just kind of works out anyway.
Yeah.
Like it's like weird. But like between like this and like Ready or Not, just like alone, she's great. Where I'm like, I want to watch Guns Akimbo at some point. Apparently she's in that, but she's great. And the other actor, Bridget Lundy Payne, as Billy, great. Fucking awesome.
I like their side mission too. Yeah, like, and they're even nerdier than Bill and Ted, so they're like talking about like music compositions and stuff, which I like. So they're not identical to them, you know, like they're a little more into it, I guess.
Their dads have imposed like all of these like things that they like onto their daughters, who are now like have a deeper understanding of it too. It's good.
They also have access to the internet, so like they can do more research. I don't know, like, and also they're just like really big fans of their dads, which I really like. Like they're like, it's so good. Like I really like your.
They're like all about their, again, like everyone just dabs each other up as much as possible. Yeah, it's just like
it's super
about,
positive.
Like, yeah. It's super, super positive. That's the thing. And then Jayma Mays, who I'm like, oh, Jayma Mays is in this. And Aaron Hayes, I was like, what? I was like, that's great.
Which I didn't realize they recast the princess in all three of them. I was like, oh, I thought they would keep the old princesses. And then I realized that they're not even in Bogus Journey.
Yeah, no, I realized that in Bogus Journey, where I was just like, I feel like they recast them. And then I don't know who these actresses are, unfortunately.
Yeah, so I mean... I haven't seen Jayma Mays in a while. I haven't seen her since like
Not
the
since
League.
Paul Blart. Oh,
she has like a guest like couple episodes on the League.
But not Paul Blart. Not Paul Blart 2. I know she doesn't come back for Paul Blart 2, but she's in Paul Blart.
It's a shame.
It's a shame. Aaron Hayes, though, famously, I believe, killed off on Kevin Can Wait.
I remember that happening in real time because I was working on a show that was like a union show, so people were like actively talking about this kind of shit because I guess it matters. And yeah, it was fucking crazy. Like she got like super afraid that totally blanking on her name.
Linda Cart. No, why did I think it was Linda Cardellini? The
Leah Remini.
Yes,
It was like coming back, and they were like writing her into the show or whatever, and
they did
because she lost her shit, which is like, you know, kind of sad. And yeah, I think she saw the writing on the wall, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, it is inspiring, a show that I don't know if it's like actively being worked on still, but Rashida Jones was writing Kevin Can Go Fuck Himself, which was like, it's like a meta take on like it's like sitcom tropes, but like from the perspective of sitcom like wife, basically, where it's like it's about her and just her shitty fucking husband, and I think it's about her like dating agency.
Really good.
It sounds great. I'm like, Rashida Jones is writing this, and it's basically in response to
Kevin Can Go Fuck Himself.
Kevin Can Go.
Who-
It's called Kevin Can Go.
Who
Fuck
plays
Himself.
Kevin?
I don't know if it's actively being made. I'm gonna Google.
All right, I'm just saying hypothetical. Who would you cast as Kevin?
Kevin James. Like,
You think he would do it?
It would be the smartest career move Kevin James could ever make to, like, poke fun at himself, but also potentially like just blow up that like part of his career.
Yeah. I mean, that would be the ideal situation for everybody.
Oh shit! They cast. Okay, so this is I guess this is potentially happening. Annie Murphy from Schitt's Creek is gonna be the lead in it.
Annie Murphy.
Allison.
She's Alexis. Oh, okay.
Yeah. If it was, oh my god, this would be great for Moira, whatever her name.
Oh, Catherine O'Hara.
This would have been great for Catherine O'Hara, circa like 1995. She would have fucking destroyed this. But Murphy will play Allison, a woman who escapes her confines and discovers her rage as Kevin Can Fuck Himself probes the secret life of a type of woman we all grew up believing we knew, the sitcom wife. The series looks to break down television convention and ask what the world looks like through her eyes. That sounds great. It's gonna be like high concept. I'm like, yeah,
Love it.
But did they cast? No, I don't see. Interesting.
I love it.
I can't wait for that to eventually be a thing.
So Kristen Shaw is also in this. Always great to see her.
I was happy to see her because, like, I feel like it's been a couple years. Like, there's like a year or two, like 2010, where Kristen Shaw was in fucking everything. And I like in this, I was like, no, this is good. She's good.
Yeah.
Like, reliable. And after watching Excellent Adventure at the end, Rufus is like, could you sign this for my daughter? I was like, there it is. That's how you do it. Mm-hmm. That's what they did.
Yeah, it was a nice little tribute to George Carlin, who's been dead for 12 years, which scared the shit out of me.
Jesus Christ.
I was like, oh, he's only been dead since like 2012, and it's 2008. He's been dead for a long fucking time.
Yeah.
Which is
Jesus Christ.
Scary to me that time's flying so fast.
It's September.
William Sadler's back as Death, and
he's so good.
And they get probably the most prolonged air guitar / bass riff ever, because it goes back and forth a couple times.
They do it like 2 or 3 times because there's not that much of it.
I kind of liked that. They kind of showed some restraint because they play pretty fast and loose with it in Bogus Journey.
Also, actually, you know what? I want to talk about this. This just reminded me. In Bogus Journey, it doesn't sound right.
Well, they do like different ones for every time they do it, right?
Bogus Journey, every single time, it just sounded weird. Where I was just like, it doesn't sound right. Like, there's something about like the sound and like the loudness. It's very like Nickelodeon Disney Channel, kind of.
The best ones are definitely from Excellent Adventure for sure.
Yeah. Although when Evil Bill and Evil Ted and Bill and Ted do it all at each other, all 4 of them, that one is primo. That one's pretty great.
Yeah.
You know who was the most surprising to come back? Hal Landon Jr. as Chief Logan.
That was great. I was like, hell yeah.
I was like, yeah, it's great. And he's still like threatening to like he didn't quite threaten to. Yeah. I was like, that's how these movies work, is like, these are the stakes. It's that Ted's dad is going to like. Oh, fuck.
They're going to cut. I wish they did or I guess he might, I don't know if he's alive, but when one of my favorite scenes in Bogus Journey is when they take over their dad's bodies and do the, like, in the police. So that's a great scene.
Yeah. His Ted is like fucking perfect.
It's spot on. That's always a great thing to do, is make actors play other actors. It's really funny.
Oh yeah.
The stakes in this are very similar. He's like, I'm going to cut you off even though you're like in your 50s. And they have to write a song to save humanity or save the universe.
Reality. Because the Wild Stallions was supposed to write a song and write the music, which the future civilization was going to be like based off of. Where Bill and Ted were in the band as well as both their wives. And it hit a point where now they're in their 50s. After Bogus Journey, they like set it up where they're like, they play a concert for everybody. Excuse me. And then they set it up where it's like, oh, people are all interested and like listening and stuff like that. And then turns out the band broke up not long after that. So this one posits like, this is the best part about this movie where it's like, okay, they were supposed to do a thing and they're in their 50s or 60s or whatever. They're pushing 60 and they haven't done that thing yet. But it's like, that was like foretold. So what does that mean? What do they like? What do they do? And it's like, that's an interesting, like midlife crisis-y kind of question. And it's like, yeah, no, that's, I don't know. It's the right hook, I think, to like justify doing this. So then they set out to try and create the song.
And they're going into the future to steal it from themselves. And Little Bill and Little Ted go back in time to build a band.
Assemble the greatest band of all time. Meanwhile, their wives meet up with their older version of themselves and are also traveling through time. And we don't really get all the details on that, right?
Because they all go to therapy. So
Jillian Bell,
great, always hilarious.
She gets an and. She gets the
yeah.
So real quick, the credits at the end.
She's the omelet maker.
She is the omelet maker. Jillian Bell would probably be really ornery making you omelets, but like in a hilarious way. But then they'd probably be like really solid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
William Sadler also got the and. So you know him and Jillian Bell together cracking omelets, cracking jokes left and right. Come on, man.
Oh, man. Yeah. And then cause their whole thing is like they can't say I love you. They say like we love you, which is hysterical because it's so true. That like they do everything together. So it's like
they are the same, like they are just interchangeable almost. Like there's not a lot of difference between the two of them. It's great. It seems like they all live in the same house with their daughters who are all the same. It's great. Yeah, so they can't say I love you. They're going to therapy and like they find out from their future selves that like their wives are going to leave them, and like they keep going farther into the future and like seeing how their lives just get like worse and worse and worse. And it's like pretty fun. I don't know. Some of the stops are really fun. But.
Oh, I loved some of them when they go and they're in prison and they have like this ridiculous fucking bodysuits on, and he's got like excellent tattooed across his chest.
Yeah. The prison one is like ridiculous because like the makeup and everything, all the makeup and like prosthetics and stuff look fucking great. The one where, spoiler alert, it's Dave Grohl's house. Big fan of that. Both of their looks are ridiculous.
They have like British accents.
They have British accents. Alex Winters is just full Johnny Depp at that point. Like, and then he takes off his like long hair wig and he's even more Johnny Depp.
Yeah, he's like Johnny Depp in Black Mass.
Exactly. He's just gross and like bald, and it's like they're playing it like their scumbag versions of themselves are great. Like the Keanu Reeves like shitty future version of himself, it's just always like being like an extra asshole to himself. It's really great. That's like his arc.
Yeah, the Dave Grohl cameo was shocking because I was like, he doesn't really do movies, and then I was like, oh, I get it. He was in front of a green screen for one line.
Oh yeah,
it was so good.
No,
which also made it funnier in a weird way. I was like, that's hysterical because they were shooting in New Orleans, so I doubt he was around. And they're like, hey, we got Dave to say it, so let's just have it be Dave Grohl's house. And then they say Dave Grohl like 10 times in that scene.
Yeah, they do that thing where they're just like, I can't believe this famous guest star's here. Like,
which is great. Like, fucking do it. Like, he probably had to give Keanu like half that movie's budget anyway, so... Although I'm sure he probably took a pay cut. It was really funny. And then I loved the fucking Mozart. It was hilarious. The guy playing Mozart.
he was really good and was like weirdly like he was like super game.
Yeah.
Like everything that they were doing, he was always like the first dude to be like, yeah, no, let's go. Like, yeah. Yeah, I think that the Dave Grohl's house I think was like my favorite out of the Bill and Ted's, and their old selves were really good. But because then the Billy and what do they call Billy and Thea's adventure, like to like assemble the band, they get Jimi Hendrix, Louis Armstrong, Mozart, like a caveman drummer lady.
That's it?
No, there's like Louis Armstrong. I thought there was more. Oh, Kid Cudi, who is like,
But he's not in the band. That's what's so funny about it. He's just like really smart.
yeah, Kid Cudi. Kid Cudi is like, he just understands like all of the sci-fi bullshit that they're like dealing with. Yeah, he just is explaining how like fourth dimensional like trappings and stuff like that like can be like a problem. It's great. But then he does the station thing. He's like, stations. I was like, is he like a hyper intelligent station being? Aren't they? Isn't Station a Martian? Like, wasn't that his thing?
Yeah. I think that was what it was alluding to, because they never say it in the movie except for that line, right? Which I guess maybe I would like to like headcanon that he's Clarence Clemens' son from Bill and Ted. Clarence Clemens is the great one or whatever.
While I was watching it, I was like, I know that's somebody famous. I was like, I just can't. I didn't look it up.
Yeah, he passed away in like 2009.
Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen saxophonist Clarence Clemens.
R.I.P.
Yeah. No,
you've heard him on the Christmas song.
Yes.
Yeah.
Darling Love. Yeah, no, I think I kind of like headcanon that for myself. Like he might be related to him. Yeah.
I like that. That works. Because otherwise Kid Cudi, it just doesn't make sense.
That's like, that's also equally awesome.
It's so good. It's excellent.
So then they keep saying we have to go to MP 46. They don't know what it means. That's like the point in time or space wherever they need to be, and they have to play this song at 7:17 p.m. or like have the song by 7:17 p.m. So they're like racing against the clock, which I don't know if that really made sense to me. Like I don't know why they were on such a time crunch with the time machine.
They explain. I mean, that's how the first one works, where it's like saying like there's time still passes even though that they have like a time machine. It's like weird.
Yeah, so they can like go lateral, but they can go back, but time is constantly moving forward. So if they're gone for 20 minutes, 20 minutes had still passed.
Yes. Okay. Like there's no stopping like the flow of time kind of thing. Like they can only they can go back and like fix stuff, but they can't avoid anything. I think that is kind of the main time travel thing. It's like you can't avoid any of the things that like you have to do. There's no way like around. You can't make more time in that sense. So it's not like time turner rules.
Yeah. Or like Back to the Future.
Exactly.
With a time machine, I could just go back early and warn them. But fucking my highlight of the movie was Dennis Caleb McCoy.
Dennis Caleb McCoy is fucking hilarious and looks pretty fucking rad too.
Yeah. Well, because I was like, okay, that design is awesome. Like how the shapes kind of like when he goes into the pod and then they disappear behind him. That was fucking really cool. And then he has that moment where he like accidentally vaporizes or like sends Ted's dad to hell or something. And he just kind of looks around like, and I was like, oh, this guy's gonna be funny. And then it's fucking Noah Hank from fucking Barry.
Yeah. It's great. Also, when he kills Bill's dad, I was like, holy shit. But then it's great because everything's fine. Because the very next thing is him and his SWAT van. The rules of hell also made no sense, which was very fun. It was him and his SWAT van tumbling down into hell as like death is like reaching out, which was like a really cool looking shot actually. And I was like, oh, they're like, there's this movie's like low key got like a ton of fucking balls in the air.
And it balances it really well.
It never feels like overwhelming or anything like that.
It's never like confusing or overwhelming. I didn't think they spent too much time with the daughters. like as if they were like handing it off to them, you know, because that you can. It's a hard juggling act to do, and I didn't feel like shortchanged with Bill and Ted, and they still kept it at a nice 93 minutes, 92 minutes, like all the other ones, hour and a half. That's it, in and out.
Tight 90. Come on. Yeah, no, the fucking his whole design is great. All of the weird like lights and like he kind of looks like Frieza, which is like fun, but it's also like really creepy. And like when I also like with the robot where it's his voice is really like terrifying at first and like modulated, but then as it goes, they just like drop it. They slowly phase it out to where he's like, and as he doesn't want to do his mission, and then he inadvertently kills both their daughters and like the whole band. So like they get the whole band together and they're ready to go start practicing, and then kills them all and sends them to hell. It's fun. And again, it's just like, I don't know, fucks with all the rules and stuff like that and ties everything together. It's good. Yeah.
Is it a movie that like everyone was asking for? Maybe, I don't know. Like, I guess people were kind of like, is there a third one gonna happen?
Yeah, Alex Winters was asking that a lot.
Yeah, which is great. I'm really happy for him because like,
yeah,
he's great. I think a lot of people sleep on him. He's directed a lot of cool documentaries. He directed the 2 last episodes of Blue Mountain State, which are probably the best ones of the whole show.
Which I think we've talked about before, where it's like that's when the show decided to be like, let's pick something to talk about.
Let's make this like, about something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's like good and like heartfelt. Like, yeah, those last 2 episodes of like Blue Mountain State, I feel like I'm very curious how it's aged. However, those last 2 episodes, I'm like, yeah. Side note, also, I think it'd be great to do a college like party, Animal House, American Pie presents, Beta House presents, kind of college movie in the time of COVID.
We just watched Animal House the other day, so I'd be down. Dean Parasot directed this. He did Galaxy Quest, which is fucking great. Fun with Dick and Jane. Bunch of like TV stuff.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the most important thing is Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, for sure. And there's like a reason why. I there's a pretty good amount of visual effects in this, and it's not bad. It's not great, but it's also like I never really expected it to be like on par with what's happening right now. Obviously,
they look like they should, because it's. Yeah, when they're walking in the future and it's like the weird hall, like the weird like pathway, and there's like the water and stuff, it looks the good kind of bad. It looks the bad that like it should. It looks the level it should look.
It's like Gods of Egypt bad.
However, I think it works because it fits more aesthetically.
It's not Gods. Yeah,
it's not Gods of Egypt, but it fits more aesthetically. Don't make me besmirch. But it fits, I think, more aesthetically. Like the vibe of like the previous 2 movies, like you could like it.
Yeah, like the time travel the shit looks pretty similar.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff like all looks like pretty similar. Yeah, it's good. It's a good looking movie like overall. Like because again, it doesn't bite off more than it can chew, and it's like there's like the new characters that it like introduces. Everyone's like in makeup and stuff like that, and it just looks good. Like
yeah, they didn't do too much CGI, and they did it when they needed to. Like Dennis Caleb McCoy, I thought was like the perfect example of that.
I don't think he was CGI. I think he did CGI things, but I think that was all.
That's what I mean. It was like just like the teleportation aspect of it, and then like once he's there, it's all suit.
It's all suit, and it's like it's great. And like he's like, yeah, I have a name. I'm Dennis McCoy. Caleb's my middle name. Like,
yeah, does it?
And everyone who he talks to is immediately just like, oh, it's fucking like, they're like so done with him, and they're all like low key pissed because he like murdered all of them. Everyone's just so like, oh yeah, this guy. Yeah.
Like, I hope he gets a lot more shit because he's so fucking funny in Barry.
Oh my god, yeah, Barry's so good. I binged that like a couple months ago. It's wonderful.
I was thinking about going back and watching it. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I laughed a lot in the beginning and the end. The middle, slowed down a tiny bit, but like it's not even long enough for it to be slow. That's what's so great about these movies. It's like
Yeah.
it's almost there's almost no room for it to be slow.
Yeah, the I think the biggest issue is just the middle just gets a little too samey, where it's like they're gonna go see this version of themselves that are like this, they're sad in these ways because XYZ. Like you're like following like a downfall of like a bad, they're going down like a bad timeline and just like observing like what could happen, and it just gets a little samey. I think the best thing I can say about the movie, and I've kind of been sitting on this for a second, is the ending. Like there's a lot of like, so the worst idea of all time did the movie We Are Your Friends for a season, and they talk at length about how that movie's about Zac Efron wants to be a DJ, and at the end of the movie he does like an original song of his where they like play the song, and it's a lot of it is just like ambient sounds that he's like recorded and remixed, and they're like, and it's supposed to be like the moment where it's like it's building up, and like they're like, it's bad. They're like, the song itself is bad when he plays it. So it's this whole movie's building up, and it's like, oh, he's gonna do like this great song. They're like, all you have to do is cut to black. Like you can choose to not show that moment like happening because you've put it on such a pedestal. I think this movie actually like nails the unifying song pretty well, and like the concert and stuff. Thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree. I loved how they were like, "Oh, it's you. You're the band. We're your backup." Because they don't specify like Bill and Ted. They say like a Preston, right, and a Logan.
Preston, Logan, their wives are both in the band. And they keep going back to Rufus saying, I can hear George a little bit, but
I'll mute it.
It's fine.
I'm gonna actually start editing these guys, just FYI. Fun stuff.
Hell yeah. Meanwhile, I got a sleeping kitty cat over there. Yeah, no, because Rufus, they keep going back to Rufus saying, this story sometimes doesn't make sense until the end. And I feel like that even works where it's like, yeah, it's like a collaboration between them and their wives. Like their kids are like the ones who are like leading the band, and they're more direct. Like it's not that they're playing it, they're more like directing it and like bringing out the best in everybody and like figuring out like what goes together. It actually sounds pretty good. And then Bill and Ted play like at the, like they do like their guitar riffs and shit like that, and like it works. But before that, the biggest thing is that they use the phone booth to become Keanu Reeves at one point says, yeah, I'm kind of like an infinite being right now. Like he says that to like Beck Bennett, and they distribute instruments to everybody across space and time to play music all together at the same time.
I love that shit.
Yeah,
that was great.
It was just like sweet. I was like, that's great. Like the big visual, I think, is like when the phone booth like explodes into a infinite version of itself. I was like, this is that got like, I was almost getting like teary eyed where I was like, this is just so sweet.
I think I cried twice.
Really?
Yeah. I think I gotta remember
when they died, and then
it might have also
that made you cry.
I don't remember. I gotta rewatch it again and see what got me.
Was it seeing Dave Grohl? Was it seeing your good friend Dave Grohl?
That'll make anyone cry. Let's be fair.
That's true.
What are you doing in my house? That's like all he says. It's fucking great. Yeah, it did have that like. Yeah, I keep going back to Keanu's line. I'm just really tired. I was like, that's fucking great. Like that's what this movie should have been about from the beginning. Like Keanu's had a really, really different career than what Bill and Ted was gonna like. It's just like fucking action movies, and
you can see it in Bogus Journey because I looked on his IMDb. Like he looks great. Like in Bogus Journey, like he's like clearly like fit.
Yeah.
And then Point Break came out the same year.
Yeah, he's like tan. He's got like better hair. Yeah.
I was like, oh, things were happening for old Kenny Reeves over here.
And they pretty much haven't stopped. Like he took some, maybe like the mid 2000s, he took off a little bit.
he probably took a Matrix break, and then he had all the hardships in his life, like all the shit happening in his personal life. And then because I was thinking about this the other day, like 47 Ronin got shit, like, I think he signed on to that, and I'm pretty sure it was like, because he's in 47 Ronin, and then that was marketed as a Keanu Reeves movie, and I think he was initially supposed to just be a supporting person in it, but that movie was made, the director was like, that was like the biggest budget given to a first-time director, and that movie got like reshoots and like all this other shit like happening all throughout, and I think they thrust a lot of the I think they basically turned it into like a white savior kind of thing. Like Keanu Reeves was
wasn't the budget like insane?
It was like $180 million for a dude who never made a movie, and then he filmed it, and they didn't like it, and then they like had to reshoot and add a bunch of CGI monsters into it. Oh boy!
Because isn't it like a traditional story or something?
It is. It's like a traditional like myth legend of like Japanese folklore.
Yeah.
I'm probably saying that wrong, but yeah. No, it is. And none of the supernatural elements are like in there, and like, so it's a terrible movie. I can't remember if you and I watched it in college.
I've never seen it.
I watched it with my roommate Nevin while we were working on his thesis movie, and all I remember is the end of that movie. Everybody kills themselves, and I've never seen a movie that ends where all of the lead characters kill themselves. And because the rest of the movie is so shitty, it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And I would recommend it to people based on.
Yeah, I mean, I could totally see. Carl Rinch was the director of 47 Ronin. He directed The Gift, which was that short film, The Gift. That was it. Yeah, he did a short. That was it.
Did he do anything before or after?
He did a short after 47 Ronin. That was it.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, he did a CGI commercial for Shell. That was what it was. It wasn't even a short film.
Woof. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so I feel like Keanu, like, because you're saying like when he kind of like took off. Oh shit! No, Keanu Reeves, because I'm seeing right before 47 Ronin. You know what he did? He directed a movie. Keanu Reeves.
Really?
A movie that I've seen once, and it kind of fucking rules. It's a martial arts movie called The Man of Tai Chi. It fucking rules, and I'm just gonna do a spoiler for like one bit. The main character, he knows Tai Chi, and he starts using it in like fighting competitions, which is like against what his like master has taught him. And he starts to get like real cocky and like angry and stuff. And at one point he's like like the main character is now like at his like asshole phase of like being like a hotshot like fighter. And he goes to fight his master, or like ask for something from his master, and his master just like won't approve of any of the things he's doing. So they end up fighting. And his master all just blocks every attack. He just does Tai Chi shit where he blocks all of his attacks, and then it builds up and he builds up, and he goes, and he like palms him, and it doesn't touch the dude, and it just caves his chest in. And it is the fucking coolest. I reference it all the time, and like not a lot of people have seen this movie, but it is the fucking coolest thing in the world. And I'm like, now I want to learn Tai Chi. So I can learn that and the hot rod Tai Chi move, which makes you shit yourself.
Oh yeah. Hot rod. I totally forgot. He produced the Side by Side, the digital versus film documentary, which is really cool if you haven't seen it.
Oh yeah.
Highly recommend it for film nerds.
Yeah, that is really good. Yeah, but even actually now that I'm like looking at this, I don't think Keanu ever really went away.
He probably did a bunch of not great movies. That's probably what it was.
It's really that.
His last 3 years have been insane.
He's
in like he's in like 5 things a year, dude.
Yeah, and it fucking he's great because people like he's been around forever. He's a super versatile dude, but I think people finally realized how to like use him because he's been in a lot of like CGI dumb like action movies, and a lot of them people have gone back and kind of like re-examined. Like I feel like Constantine has kind of gotten a re-examination, and people are like Constantine's like a fucking good movie.
Yeah.
Man of Tai Chi rules. I wish more people talked about that. I forgot that movie existed until just seeing it right now.
Knock Knock, hilarious if you haven't seen it.
I've never seen it, but it's Eli Roth, and I'm like, Eli Roth, I'm always like,
it's not super gruesome or anything. It's more like psychological shit. They just kind of break Keanu Reeves, which is kind of sad because you're just like, I don't want this to happen to Keanu Reeves. But it's kind of just like, there's some great like one-liners though from it. He's just dials it up to 11. Day of the Earth is Still was like probably one of his not great ones, I guess.
Yeah. Not a good movie. What the fuck is Swedish Dicks, which is a TV show that he's apparently in a lot of?
Never heard of it.
He plays Tex in 13 episodes. What? What is this?
He's obviously did Scanner Darkly and Hardball. Yeah, man. Fucking have you seen Chain Reaction?
No,
96. It's 96. Keanu's like basically we're at a record shop and Gail saw it on DVD and it was like Morgan Freeman, Keanu, Rachel Weisz, Kevin Dunn, of course, classic 90s dad. I'm pretty sure he's his dad. But I was just like, what the fuck is this shit? And it's like insane. It's like a nuke goes off and he escapes it in a motorcycle and is like totally fine. It's insane.
2 researchers in a green alternative energy project are put on the run when they are framed for murder and treason. Oh, fuck. Like,
that's like written by Charlie and Mac.
Yeah. No, it's not just murder and treason. Yeah.
It's worth watching. It's ridiculous.
I just watched a Catherine Bigelow movie earlier. I finished it. It's like a Jamie Lee Curtis like cop movie called Blue Steel. It just felt like so like of that era where everything's like blue at night and it's all just like
mid to late 90s.
You know. Yeah. Clancy, everyone's really sexist, like in the way that you really could only be until like 96. Like the super overt kind. Like
yeah. Like the Tango and Cashes of the day.
I think I looked at Voodoo and Tango and Cash was one of like the $4.99 like movie deals of the day, and I was super
It's
tempted.
been on Stars for like a year, and I'm just loving it. I'm like, this is the best $8.99 I've spent a month. I pop it on once every couple months.
So we should start a new streaming platform that only plays Tango.
Didn't someone do that?
Ryan Reynolds did for some.
That's right.
Random Ryan Reynolds movie from like
the mid 2000s or something. We should do a commentary on fucking Tango and Cash.
Dude, yeah. No, that feels like because after Van Helsing, I was like, what's the next one here?
Well, I don't know if we're ever gonna be able to like finish.
Man, that's a bummer. But like, if Van Helsing is our great unfinished one, like. Oh boy, we'll put it up on like a Patreon or something so that we can have
Here's Andrew for the first 15 minutes. Talking to nobody.
Oh, fuck. Me, I think the best part of it is like 10 minutes or so in. I'm just like, wait a minute. We did not talk about how the Universal logo bursts into the globe bursts into flame and then is a torch.
Fuck it. Should we just rent it?
Oh god.
Well, that's what's the other thing too is like no one else is gonna be able to watch it. So
yeah, that was the
that's kind of
look. That was more, Sean. That one was really for us. Like,
yeah, who am I kidding?
It truly was. One we haven't talked about. I'm realizing we haven't talked about death.
As in
Bill and Ted.
Bill and Ted.
Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
No, not
like the general sense of death. Yeah. And
the character, the funny character. I very much enjoyed William Sadler in this as Death when they show up.
He's so good.
He's like he's even more ridiculous in this one because they don't bring it up until they see him, but they kicked him out of the band. Because he was being a dick and like they sued him.
They wanted like he was doing like 40-minute bass solos or something like that.
They're like, you're doing 40-minute bass solos. No one wants to hear that. He was like, what? They were perfect. Like, and they're like gonna sue him, and they're like, he's like, oh, you're here, isn't even though there's a restraining order. Like, he's like such a fucking asshole.
The makeup looks great.
It looks amazing. Yeah,
he's just, it's like he never left, you know.
yeah, he looks the same, and he's just having fun.
Yeah, they get a great little air guitar and bass thing going back and forth. He was the bad guy in Die Hard with a Vengeance, or Die Hard 2. Sorry,
Die Hard 2.
Die Harder.
Yeah. So when they start doing the concert at the end of the movie, the song that they start playing, I fucking swear to God, sounds like the Independence Day score. Like, it's so close to the and then it kind of like merges into something else. But I was like, holy shit, excuse me.
I mean, Independence Day soundtrack is humanity reality saving worthy. Maybe it is a great fucking theme song.
That's true. No, it is. I'm specific, and it might be, they might just sample the part right after the president's speech. So like, you know, that tracks. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. And there's the trumpets.
Wasn't that like one of the highest grossing movies at the time?
Yeah.
Like it made a shit.
1996.
It was like only behind Titanic probably, and maybe Star Wars with inflation.
Yeah. Independence Day made a fuck ton of money. It's because Will Smith at like the height of his prowess.
Yeah, man. Got Jeff Goldblum right after J Park.
It's not the height of his prowess. We haven't seen the height.
I don't think we ever will.
I don't think Jeff Goldblum will ever peak. I think he's in a constant state of peaking, which is why he is the way he is. Like, if you told me Jeff Goldblum was coming 24 hours a day, Sean, I'd believe it. You can tell George and Gail I just said that too. They just walked in the room.
Yeah. Fucking, I can tell you one thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew, that's true.
Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna watch Ragnarok soon.
Speaking of WoW, we watched the Shanghai movies, Noon and Nights.
How were they?
Really good.
Okay.
Like really fun.
Yeah. Because I've revisited the first two Rush Hours not long ago, and I was like, oh, all right, there's some things in here that feel wrong, but okay.
Oh, for sure. There's definitely a couple things that you're like, but
Jeremy Piven in Rush Hour 2. Buttercream.
I was gonna say like anything Jeremy Piven.
Yeah.
But no, it has some really good Owen Wilson wows. And they're he's almost never on screen when they're said. It's always like a establishing shot. So I'm like, did they just ADR him going like, wow, he's up there on the rafters and he's fighting them with the ladder. It's great.
Oh wow!
I'm gonna go have sex with this girl over here.
I would hope that Owen Wilson was just invited on set to watch all the stunts, because I think he really would enjoy himself.
I think they invited him to just be in that movie, and that's what he's doing. He's just being Owen Wilson in those movies.
I forgot Owen Wilson was in that. Like,
oh yeah, because I mean he's not the star of the movie. It's Jackie Chan. Like, let's be real.
Yeah, duh. Isn't like the bad guy in like Shanghai Nights like a Game of Thrones
Yeah, it's Littlefinger.
Right.
And fucking Top Hat is Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. And I was like, what is this guy in? What do I know him from? And like, I would say like any other movie, but the only other movie I knew him from was Van Helsing. So,
also, this just reminded me, I forget what this was for, but I was going to do a sketch where I wanted to do George.
With this fucking squeaking. It's fine.
We were gonna do a Jackie Chan rap or something like that, and all I remember, this just reminded me, the one line I didn't have the full chorus, but the one line that I'm just remembering right now is, from Shanghai Noon to Shanghai Nights, we sure love watching his karate fights.
That's awesome.
Which is like
amazing.
It's so stupid,
Chef's kiss.
but chef's kiss. So you'll see that on my letterboxd soon.
Fucking it's fun. I mean, fucking Jackie Chan's the man.
True.
He's just fucking doing it, man. Puts his body on the line for our entertainment. So does Tom Cruise, but Jackie Chan especially. But Tom Cruise just does crazy shit, whereas Jackie Chan does like all the cool shit.
No, Jackie Chan, Sean, I have not seen enough of Jackie, or like really many or any of his like Hong Kong action movies. The shit Jackie Chan has done is insane. There's a movie where he slides down like a angled part of a skyscraper and stops himself, and then does like, I'm pretty sure he does like it's like the glass is here, and then it like stops here, and he slides down, and then kind of does like whoa, and then has to like plop himself back down. In like one of the police stories, maybe he jumps onto a big like tower of like lights, and he like fireman's down it as all the lights like explode around him. He like didn't have the right gloves, so he just shredded and burned his hands doing like this stunt. Like Jackie Chan, because I almost asked you who would win in a fight, Tom Cruise in their prime or Jackie Chan in their prime, and I'm like, no.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Tom Cruise now would do better than Tom Cruise in his prime, but.
So are you saying Tom Cruise is in his prime now? Because that can be the answer.
Sure.
I think Tom Cruise now could easily beat Jackie Chan now, because I think Jackie Chan now is like...
Yeah, Jackie Chan's probably like in his 60s or 70s.
He's old, and he is probably like I was saying, Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, his body probably isn't doing too well. He's probably broken like every bone in his body, I'm sure.
Yeah, but to quote the Rush Hour 2 bloopers, Jackie always okay. Jackie okay? Jackie always okay. There's that, and then Chris Tucker gets called on the one blooper, and then Jackie Chan, he puts Jackie Chan on, and Jackie Chan yells at him. He's like, you waste all of our film. And me and my one coworker,
he does it in the bloopers in Shanghai Nights too. His phone goes off. It's like always happens, and he pulls out his like Nokia phone and everything. It's great.
So good. But me and my one buddy would always yell, you waste all of our film at each other. Because Jackie Chan said it. Oh, God.
Guys, film used to be a finite thing. You would actually run out of it if you were rolling too long.
It was like 8 minutes or something?
Yeah, I guess it depends on like what you're shooting on. But like typical 35 is like 10 minutes tops on a roll. And I think it's like $700 for a roll of film these days. Yeah, it's insane. Film ain't cheap. Like I'm sure unless you're like Warner Brothers, I think they own Photochem where they process all of the film now because you don't really need a whole lot of places to do it anymore. They probably spend like millions of dollars on film per movie that they make. I'm sure because you know they still make a good amount of movies on films, not nearly as many as they used to, but.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers particularly shoots on film a lot still.
Warner Brothers feels like they try and maintain that, like director. But Warner Brothers, I feel like truly is the last of like the big studios that just kind of lets people do whatever the fuck they want.
To an extent, yeah.
If it's the studio that's given us Fury Road, Aquaman, Jupiter Ascending, and Christopher Nolan projects, they kind of let people do whatever. If you're in their good graces,
certain people, yes. Todd Phillips, they let him do whatever they want, or whatever he wants, because of the Hangover movies.
And it's like fucked up brain, man. He's like, dude, what if the Joker?
What if I made people fucking miserable for 2 hours and never wanted to let them watch this movie again? Because I don't think I will ever watch that movie again.
No, I don't think I would. To quote my good friend Bartleby the Scrivener, I would prefer not to.
Oh, man. Yeah, but Bill and Ted. Fun movie. Not like the Joker.
Not like Joker. So, Bill and Ted 3. Well, how would you rank them? I'd probably go
132 maybe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Better than Bill and Ted movies. Better than Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah.
I'd say all three clear that.
Resounding yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pretty clear. Pretty.
I fucking buy it. Like make this movie make money. Seriously. Like.
I bought it. And I was like, yeah, I'll probably watch this like 1 or 2 more times. I would do the trilogy again.
Yeah.
They're light. They're easy. They're breezy. Cover girl.
You could do a trilogy in like 4.5 hours.
You could binge a fucking TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
check it out, rent it, buy it. It's online. I didn't even know that they were gonna do that until like the day before. I was like, oh shit, like we're gonna be able to watch it. I thought it was just gonna be theaters. So
because Orion, now that they're somehow back from bankruptcy.
Yeah, what the fuck? I saw that logo and I was like, I didn't know that they were a thing still.
Yeah.
Who knew? I was like, did they just do it for like the nostalgia factor, or did they actually have anything to do with it?
No, Orion put out a couple other things recently. It's like weird. I don't know how they came back, but
maybe someone just like bought it or something, bought the IP.
Yeah. But anyway, gang, I'm gonna say like, rate, subscribe, and follow us out there. And
good night, everybody. Stay safe. Tell everyone you love them. Wear a mask.
In other words, be excellent to each other and
party on.
Party on, dudes.
Bow.